Processor levels have gone skyrocketing. Alright, here we go. I'm actually going to use my webcam that's built into my laptop for my daily rant, which I am now starting. Today will be the first day of the daily rant. I was going to do it yesterday, but I got lazy. Imagine that, those who know me. So today what I'm going to talk about is leadership. And that is something that has been on my mind and in my heart for quite some time. See, I was in the military for 6 years, and when you're in the military, you become a specialist in your specific job. Now, that's awesome and all, but what happens if the person next to you, gets taken out? You have to know their job as well. You don't have to be an expert in their job, but you have to be able to perform the job, and that is a well-oiled machine. When I was in the military, we did something called PMCS, where it's called Preventive Maintenance Checks and Services, and what we would do is before you take a vehicle or before you take anything, you have to go through what's called the PMCS process, where you go through the entire item that you're checking out, see if there's anything wrong with it, make sure all the blinkers work, make sure all the brakes work, make sure the wheels are inflated to the proper, everything. It's a well-oiled machine. And so I want to apply that to life, because each and every one of us, even though We Are Change claims to be a leaderless movement, what that really means to me is that every single one of us are leaders, that every single one of us has a responsibility to do our research, to know our facts, to be able to be the most effective that we can be with the things that we do. And so that's why I want to talk about leadership today, because everybody's waiting for some one guy or girl. I have no problem with there being female leadership. In fact, I applaud it. I think that we as human species need both male and female leadership in our lives. And it always, when you have a good balance and when you understand the way things work and when you have a solid plan, always turns out well for the most part, unless, some people are just broken. But everybody's waiting for this leadership to change the world. And what We Are Change is doing as a so-called leaderless, I should say, movement is actually incorrect. We all need to be leaders. We all need to own up to our own faults. We need to be able to admit when we're wrong. We all need to be able to recognize what needs to be done and just get up and do it. And so this is my rant for the day. It's about leadership. It is everyone's responsibility to clean up after themselves. It's their responsibility to own up to when they've done something wrong. It's their responsibility to take care of the things that are underneath them at that moment. Because when you look at leadership, there's always delegation. So if you've got a sergeant, you have a specialist and a corporal, and then you have a private. And so there's a chain of command. So we need to be responsible for those who are underneath us. And I'm doing this because from a military standpoint, and there's a reason for this. I'm going to get to this at the end of this rant. We are ineffective when we try to change the world by ourselves. We need to be a unit. We need to move as a team. However, how do you do that without leaders? Well, that's the whole point. So We Are Change is not a leaderless movement. We are all leaders. You need to be able to pick up where your buddy left off. You need to be able to go out there and do it on your own. This movement does not have room for doubt. We don't have room for, who am I going to call? What are my orders? Just follow your heart, man. We are all connected as one species, through our Creator or through the universe, whatever you want to call it. I personally believe in God and follow that fully, the best I can. Not fully. I can't even believe I just said that. Anyway, I believe that it's written in our hearts. It's written on our hearts like a plaque that says, I think that every person knows the difference between right and wrong, and I believe that we're trained to think otherwise. I think that naturally, in our natural state, in our organic form, we tend to love our children. We tend to love our husband or wife. We tend to get along with our neighbors. But there's been a perversion. There's been so much toxicity, whether it be ideas or, different environmental toxicities or drugs or ideals. Like I remember when gangster rap came out, for the prime example. It was, everybody thought they were a gangster, and look at the damage it's done to our society. So, yay, Dr. Dre made a bunch of money. Yay, Snoop Dogg made a bunch of money. Yay, Eminem is the first white rapper. Oh my God, we're so happy. Eminem, the first big time white rapper. And, oh, we got a black president. And seriously, Hollywood needs to go, man. Call it Holly Weird, actually. And it's all a lie. It's all of its BS to the end. What needs to happen is we need to realize who we are, what our goal is, and what we want in this world, and then be the change. And that is what leadership is all about, is not waiting for your orders, not waiting for somebody else to tell you how to think or what to think. It's thinking for yourself. It's being an individual. It is stepping up, even if we don't agree with each other. My God, we're in bondage right now. Everybody thinks, oh, we eliminated slavery, back in the day with the Emancipation Proclamation. No, we didn't. No, not it. You're a slave, doofus. I mean, seriously. Slavery is okay. People want to like tie slavery and racism together, but let's be honest, man. We're all slaves now. That we don't have time to sit here and fart around with something as stupid and petty and illogical as racism. It's all social engineering. We've been conned. We've been taught to not like each other. Husbands and wives fight because they've been taught to fight, and they've been put under the strain and the stress because of the financial situations. Parents and children have been taught to not like each other. Men and women, parents, children, black, white, different religions, it's all social engineering. You are being programmed like a computer, just like anything else. I know this because I'm a computer programmer. So what I want to say is right now is we need to unify as a human species, and I want every one of you that can ever see this video to not only A, pass it on, but to B, start being a leader. We don't have time for following. Who are we following? We're waiting for some massive guru. We're waiting for the second coming of Christ. I mean, please, seriously. Did Jesus wait for the second coming? No. He stepped up and did it. Did Muhammad wait for somebody else to tell him what? No, he did it. And that is why, even though I'm not a huge proponent of religion specifically, because I know it can be distorted, but I find no fault in the Quran, and I find no fault in the Bible. I think the fault is with us, and I think we need to stand up and atone to that. That I have been part of the problem, and I need to be part of the solution. And if we all did that, if we all stood up and said, you know what, I'm going to forgive that person for hurting my feelings. I'm going to give my last dollar to somebody who needs it more than I do. I'm going to help somebody carry something because they can't do it on their own. I'm going to speak words of wisdom. I'm going to be truthful. I'm going to have a loving heart. I'm willing to listen. Even if I don't believe they're right or wrong, the truth is the ultimate thing that we need to come together. Truth and love. And if we can do that, if we can set our own personal BS aside, if we can grow to a higher level of spirituality, if I want to live in a world where Jews, Muslims, and Christians get along. I want to live in a world where any religion and atheists get along. Because if we did that, there probably wouldn't be any atheists. But I will mention one thing. I got a bunch of books, and I really wanted to comment on one thing. This is awesome. Only love can defeat terrorism. And I don't care which version of the story you believe. I don't care if you believe the official government story. I don't care if you believe in the conspiracy theories or whatnot of things that are going on in the world. The fact is, the definition of terrorism is using fear to control people. And you see that. You see it all the time. So corporations terrorize us all the time. Oh my God, if you don't buy our product, people aren't going to like you. It's fear. You're afraid of being accepted. You're afraid of women not being attracted to you, or men not being attracted to you, or you're afraid that you're not going to be good enough, or you're afraid that, if you don't have this tracking device implanted into your children, that they're going to be abducted and taken away, and there's just fear, 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 fear. And so you buy the product because you don't want to. It's like insurance. Insurance is a prime example. If you get into a car accident, you don't have insurance, guess what? Fear. Fear, bad things, horrible things, fear. And so they terrorize you and they scare you into buying things. And so that's what's happened in our society, is we've bought into all these ridiculous ideals, these worldviews and everything else based upon fear. And religion has been divided. And if you think for one moment that you could stick God into one book, have fun with that. I've done my studies. When I first realized that there was a God, and there is one. Okay, I'm not even gonna beat around the bush. There is a God. He's real. I say he because that's the only way that me as a person can perceive it. And I'm an idiot, but I do know for sure that there is a God. So the first thing I did was, great, now there's a God. I gotta figure out which religion I'm supposed to belong to. So I went and I studied all the religions. And this is where I probably turn off half my audience. I picked Christianity. It was not an easy choice, and I'll tell you why. Because there are so many similarities between the Bible and the Quran, and of course the Torah is the Jewish Bible, which is part of the Christian Bible. And so it wasn't easy, because there was a lot of truth in there, and there were a lot of things that I agreed with and disagreed with. And then along came this dude who had a crappy life, worked his tail off, and then he got older. He became a man, and he challenged the church. He asked questions. That's why I like this guy so much. He hung out with hookers and thieves and the low life people, the people that needed him the most. He hung out with them. When he saw that there were banksters, the money changers, aka, hanging out at the temple, he flipped over the tables and was like, he was so angry. He didn't like banks. He didn't like banksters. He didn't like the swindling. He didn't like it. He spoke the truth. He helped people. He performed miracles, and even in the Quran it says so. And then the big argument becomes, well, he claims that he was the Son of God. We are all the sons and daughters of God. So I'm not going to argue that. I'm not going to argue the virgin birth, because honestly, sin is a whole other topic. But the thing that I really want to focus on, I don't want to sit here and focus on the bad things, the negative things. Except all these preachers, they get up there like, oh, you've sinned, you're going to hell, you're going to burn forever. I don't think that God is this big, huge hammer in the sky that's going to whack you over the head every time you mess up. If that was the case, I'd have knots all over the place, because I'm an idiot. What I believe is that God is like a parent, and that's why Jesus said, our Father. Our. He didn't say my Father. He said, our Father, who's in heaven. Just give us what we need to get by today. Forgive us for the stupid stuff that we do. And give us the strength to forgive those people that do things against us. And that spoke to me. It spoke to me in volumes. I'm not gonna sit here and say that because I'm a Christian I denounce the Muslim religion or I denounce the Jewish religion. Not at all. I think there's lots of truth. I think that God has tried several times to speak to us, and most of the time we don't listen. I am absolutely guilty of such things. If you're Muslim or you're Jewish, even if you're an atheist, I don't care at this moment. I still love you. You're still my brother and sister. But I want to show you that when you have a relationship with God, when you get to the truth, when you become a leader and stop being a follower, because the only person you should follow is Him. Whether you call Him Allah, whether you call Him God, whether you call Him Jesus, there is only one God. And we can debate that anytime you want. I don't care. That is the only thing you should follow. Other than that, you should be a leader. You should learn. You should have a relationship with God. You should absorb as much knowledge as you can. You should love, and this is my favorite part about Christianity, is when They were asking him about the Ten Commandments. And by the way, the Muslim religion has, like, I believe it's 40. Very, very structured religion that once again, I do not find fault with. However, I get in these conversations with Christians like, well, they make their women wear this, and they make this, and they make this. And like, listen, it was a suggestion. If God wanted to force himself on you, he would come down and just do it. He created the universe. He created you. He created me. If he really wanted to force you to do anything, it would have been done. He gave you free will. He gave you a list of suggestions. I find no major fault with religion other than the people who distort it, those people who use it for political gain, for monetary gain, those people who do not properly represent the ideologies that they claim to represent. I believe in a perfect world if Muslims truly followed the Quran, if Christians truly followed the Bible, if Jews truly followed the Torah, then we would have world peace. Nobody would go outside of the realm of that type of behavior. Even though God gave us free will, we wouldn't do it because God said we had to. We would do it because we wanted to. Because, the same way, when a parent tells a child, don't play with matches. And that's really, to me, what, religion is. It's a relationship between yourself and the Creator that allows you to benefit in life fully and allows you to have the forgiving spirit to overcome the bad things that happen to you in this world. Because one of the biggest arguments that atheists give me is, if there was a God, then why is there so much evil in the world? Well, why do you choose to do evil? Why do you choose to not to forgive your brother or your sister, your mother, your father, that person who's done you wrong? Forgiveness, and that's the reason why I'm a Christian. Is the whole forgiveness. I believe that I don't know everything for sure. I believe that there's a lot more information that I won't see until I reach that other side, till I cross over to the next plane, till I reach the plateau. So I'm able to say I don't know, and I'm able to accept other people for what they are. And it's not always about being right. It's not always about, I'm right and you're wrong. It's not always about what's convenient for me, because most people fall into that trap. Well, I believe this because this works for me, and my reality is different than your reality. I'm like, dude, there's only one reality. I'm sorry. I hate to break it to you, but there's only one reality. There's only one truth. If you have a truth that's different than the actual truth, then you're living a lie. So there's lots of lies, but there's only one truth, and that one truth is God. And it doesn't matter if you're a Muslim, it doesn't matter if you're Christian, it doesn't matter if you're a Jew, it doesn't matter if you're an atheist, it doesn't matter if you're a turtle, it doesn't matter if you're a bird or a piece of grass. There's only one God. And we're people. We're imperfect. Of course we're going to argue with each other. That's the whole point. Stop arguing with each other. Let's unite as a human species. Let's unite as a world species. Let's unite as an entire planet. And let's look each other in the eyes and say, you know what? I don't agree with you, but I love you. And together we can find the truth. Everything else is BS. Everything else is subsequential. Everything else is a distraction. So, what's the problem? Oh, that's right. We're still waiting for one guy to come along and save the world. We thought he was Obama. Oh, did he save the world? Then there's the answer to your question. If obviously he didn't. There are still people who are homeless. There are still people who are hungry. There are still people who you could help. There are people in this world that you could sit down and have a conversation with. There are women who have low self-esteem that you could just give a compliment to. There are men who just need a decent woman that will stand behind them and help them be the better man that they can be. There are societies, there are neighborhoods, there are buildings, there are children, there are everything. But we're so busy just self-destructing, caring more about sports and uh, superficial things, that we don't go out there and we don't help the next person. There's somebody right now that you know that's hurting, that needs help, whether it be a hug, whether it be a word of wisdom, whether it be maybe some little bit of financial help. I wouldn't recommend getting into the habit of constantly giving people money, but sometimes people need a hand up. Don't give them a hand out. Don't do it for them. Help them accomplish the goals that they need to accomplish. And that's what we need to do as humanity. And that's why the world is the way it is. Not because we have all these crooked politicians and all these evil corporations. We want to blame them all day long. And trust me, they are part of the problem. But there's only several thousand of them, and there's three. And here in my country alone, there's over 300 million Americans. So, are you telling me that 3,000 people destroyed this entire country, yet 300 million people couldn't fix the problem? So, I want to finish off this rant by saying that I want to be part of the solution. I'm sick of being part of the problem. So, I need you to hold me accountable. I need you to stand with me. I need that extra push, because I'm just as lazy as you, if not more. So, but I just wanted to say that above and beyond all that, I love you unconditionally, and I truly believe that if we stood together, that we could accomplish the goals that we really do want in this world, and we can create a better planet. Stop waiting for somebody else to do it. Get up and do it yourself. This is Eric from We Are Change, Wisconsin, signing off.